Greetings and welcome to our Sankofa Day celebration. The UN declared this day as a commencement of remembrance of the trade route of slavery, and we are honored to have our special guests from around the world to take part in it. In this historical moment, as we share with you all over, to share with you our 2022 Emancipation Month and homegoing destination. I would like to introduce the founder of Emancipation, obviously Mr. Lee, Emancipation Month, and he is going to go into a prayer, and then I'm going to go into the preamble.
Thank you very much, Destiny. You have displayed an incredible example for women around the world as you help women emancipate their minds from mental slavery, as we are able to put forth messages of health and messages of empowerment to women. And we are proud to have you as the 2022 Emancipation Month Canada, our queen. And I thank you very much for opening. I also would like to greet all of our guests from around the world here. We're here because the AfriCaribbean Festival is something that must exist. The AfriCaribbean Festival. Did I get that for you, Empress?
Like Africa,
Yeah,
Africa.
yes, the Afri. And I love the free part. How can you leave out the free part? Because ain't we free? Hallelujah. Praise God. And so the Afri, and I'm going to put my fist up every time I say that, Afri Caribbean Festival must happen. And what these incredible minds have done is put together an experience for the African diaspora to be able to connect back to the motherland. And every year during Emancipation Month, we choose a different destination for us to encourage the community to focus on, to target, and to be able to make that part of their life experience. And there is a very unique connection to Canada and Sierra Leone, and that is one of the major reasons why this destination and this festival is a must for all of the African diaspora to attend. And so they've created a very special incentive. And when you listen to the rest of this interactive meeting, you will learn what the code is so that you can save money. But right now, we are being very Afri-centric right now as we pay homage to our creator and pay homage to our ancestors. And we have a very special prayer that we read during this libation. And it's called the Emancipation Month prayer. So I'll ask for you to just take a moment to really humble ourselves and seek wisdom and guidance from our Father in heaven. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in all places the descendants of Africans live and in heaven. Give us this day freedom, peace, and our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses and our debts as we forgive those who trespass against us using racism as an excuse to do the work of Satan. Lead us not into temptation of going back to an enslaved mindset, and deliver us from every evil designed to stop the elevation of your beloved Black children. We give thanks for your deliverance from bondage. Thanks for the deliverance of Jim Crow and segregation and racism, that we are all a sound mind and that we still serve you. We take this moment now to pay homage to our ancestors, who we give thanks to, whose shoulders we stand on, who sacrificed. And today, on this international day around the world, is being recognized as a day to reflect and pay homage to the sacrifices and the suffering that took place on the transatlantic slave trade. We pour water out in all of the members of our family who passed away during that horrific journey across the oceans. So as we pour water and we think about the bodies of water, that we cross, and we think of how many bodies are in that water, there are too many to name. And as I just read off a few names in a few places, I ask for you to just say I mean. We take a moment to, as we pay homage to all the lives and the sacrifices from the men and women and children from Ghana. I mean, and Ashe. You can repeat after me, Ashe. We pray over all the lives and the suffering and sacrifice from the children and the men and women from Sierra Leone. Ashe. We pray over all the lives of those who've reached all of South America, including Brazil, especially Brazil, where the largest population of people of African descent live outside of Africa. We commemorate their lives. Ashe. For every port along the United States of America, where our shackled, enslaved ancestors were drawn to and brought to forced labor, we celebrate their lives. Ashe. For all of the ports across the UK and Canada, where our loved ones, our ancestors, were stolen from Africa and brought to be enslaved in a strange land in the UK and Americas. We lift up their names and their sacrifices. Ashe. And for every Caribbean island, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago, St. Lucia, Barbados, and every island in between that served as a factory, that served as a place of torment and horrific acts by white people, European, Portuguese, Spanish, French, American, and across the world, saw us as product, saw us as inventory, and not as people. We recognize them as people today, and we pour this libation in their memory. Ashe. Thank you very much. So, in Canada, we are. For the last 7 years, we worked very diligently to make this month of August as Emancipation Month, as it is a global reflection and a time for global reflection and a time of global conversation among the diaspora, the African diaspora, as we reflect on what slavery has done to not just ourselves individually as Africa's scattered Black children, but as what it did to the continent. And we focus on the continent, and we pray for the continent, and we find ways for our resources to reach the continent. And so today, this is our way of being able to recognize the continent, to lift up where we come from, and to make tangible plans for the people around the world to be able to reclaim what was stolen and taken from them. So we were successful through the grace of God last year to have the Emancipation Act passed in Ontario, the largest province in Canada. And I had the responsibility of writing this act, this law that was passed. And we are now going to have our Emancipation Month Queen read the official Emancipation Act, which declared the month of August in Ontario as Emancipation Month.
Thank you, Dewey. Thank you. An act of the proclamation the month of August as Emancipation Month. Anti-Black racism has been prevalent in the history of Ontario. Slavery, inequities, inclusion, many forms of discrimination have been the basis of much of Ontario's past. By proclaiming August as Emancipation Month, Ontario is following the UN General Assembly's adoption of the period of 2015 to 2024, being the International Decade of People of African Descent, to ensure the people of African descent receive the recognition, justice, and access to opportunities they deserve. Ontario acknowledged this and recognizes the Slavery Abolition Act. 1833, eliminating slavery in the most British colonies at the same time. It is received a royal assent on August 28, 1833, and took effect on August 1st, 1833. Ontario pays tribute to the important contribution and leadership that the Black communities have made and continue to make in Ontario as a major part of our vibrant social, economic, and political cultural fabric of our province. Emancipation Month is a time for healing, unification, and restoration. It is also about eliminating discrimination by continuing to educate and advance the importance of racial equality across the province. Emancipation Month will help build a more inclusive province where everyone is treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. Therefore, by Her Majesty, and by with the advice and consent of the Legislative Assembly of the Province of Ontario, enacts as follows. Emancipation Month, the month of August in which the year is proclaimed as Emancipation Month. And number two, this is an act that comes forth on the day as it receives royal assent. Number three, the short title of the act is Emancipation Month Act 2020. To God be the glory. Amen. I say.
Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you very much. Thank you for reading that. And so that's a historical piece of history that we are building upon. And this is a very important part of us doing exactly what we said we wanted to do as the parent body and governing body of Emancipation Month. I'm thankful for everyone that helped make this history happen. And we are unapologetically Black and focused on building bridges with our community around the world. And, you know, today being August 23rd, recognized as Sankofa Day, the UN International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade, it's very fitting that we have a team of people from around the world who have put together their minds together so that they can bring people together to celebrate and experience the continent that we were pulled and stripped from. So I am now going to introduce the two co-founders of the AfriCaribbean Festival. That would be none other than Dana Labor
Hi.
and Empress Jallo.
Hello, hello, hello.
Greetings.
Okay. Greetings.
Floor is yours.
Okay. We want to. I want to personally thank Mr. Do-It Lee for putting this together. We are definitely grateful. We definitely see the connection between what we're doing and what he's doing as far as emancipation. We we've worked over 4 years on this project. So we've come a long way. We Our goal is to actually um, match both the Caribbean and the African culture together in Sierra Leone. Also, it's also to be able to make that connection real solid, where people would actually understand, their roots and what it's really meant. Um, all with that, using the festival as a platform for to actually make that happen. So I wouldn't say much on it because we will go in detail as we go further in the program. Members.
And as you were saying, Empress Jalo or Empress J, co-founder of AfriCaribbean Festival, representing the Caribbean, representing 246 Barbados and all of the islands and Caribbean American people across the world, across the states, and people of Caribbean descent across the world who embrace and um, want to share this beautiful culture that we have, and we recognize that that culture has its roots in Africa, and we want to bring that back. So the vision and the goal was to bring two cultures back together And that's what we're doing with AfriCaribbean Festival. With our motto is we're bridging borders and waters through culture, art, and music. And it's so much bigger than a festival, and we'll get more into that as we go along.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Danny, if you would like to
Yes.
introduce our very special guest, please.
Yes. Um, um, it's an honor to uh, bring no other team, the tourist board of in Freetown, Sierra Leone. I was honored to meet this gentleman in March when I went to Freetown, and we have built a relationship um, real strong. Uh, his ideas and my ideas about the tourism in Freetown are in line. He's a great guy. Miss, he's Mr. Kai Bokari Sakwi. He is the communication and PR head of unit National Tourism Board. Um, he's a great guy, and I present to you Mr. Kai Sakwi.
Greetings.
You're on mute. Mute. Okay.
Thank you very much, Daniel Labor. Kabo Kabo unakusha au unudu. How are you all doing tonight?
Wonderful.
It's
Thank
very
you.
late in the springtime.
Yes.
Okay. So Daniel, should I go ahead, or I'm going to wait for further introduction of other colleagues in the house?
The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. I must first of all say it's a pleasure to have you all here tonight. And if there is anything we have to do, we have to do it now, because generations are coming after us that are expecting us to do what we are required to do. And I want to extend my profound thanks and appreciation to Daniel, to Empress J, to Dewitt, and all of you guys that are putting this treasurable, remarkable ceremony together. By the way, I must extend a profound appreciation to Brother Dewitt for the libation to our forefathers and their spirits and the gods. And I must confess to you, the libation touched my spirit. I couldn't hold it, and I almost shed tears, because you took me back to a thorough retrospection of what happened hundreds of years ago, when our forefathers were taken in shackles, in chains, on the decks of foreign ships to lands unknown. But I'm happy tonight that those people, those family members, brothers, uncles, and aunties that left the shorelines and the coastal lines of Sierra Leone, West Africa, be from Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, I am happy that we are meeting them again in December. And I want to say, this is family uniting. Families across the rivers are uniting again for one purpose, for one cause. And to that, I doff my hat to all of you. And I must say congratulations to, to Sierra Leone. I must say thank you for identifying Sierra Leone to bring this Afri-Caribbean Cultural Heritage Festival in my town, in my country, at no other time but this time. I must say to the entire team, that is the right choice you've made, and is the right place you have chosen. The reasons why I'm saying it is the right place and it's the right choice you've made, because these people you're about to meet, they are receptive, resilient, receptive, strong, and they are going to make this Afri-Caribbean Heritage Cultural Ceremony very, very fruitful, emotional, interesting, culturally oriented, and there is more to say to this from the tourism board perspective, from the Ministry of Tourism. I must obey the team that the National Tourist Board, the Ministry of Tourism, the Monuments and Relics Commission, we are all anticipating a safe arrival of the team to see how we can all put hands on deck to pull off this wonderful first kind of maiden event ever hosted on the soil of this wonderful country. December is the right month, and I must tell you, my people, your brothers and sisters, their hands are open to receive you with all their cultural might, to receive you with all their heritage expectation. You'll be hearing different sounds of drums from the east, the west, the south, the central, different gumbe, different sounds, different tribal songs, and different dialects to receive all of you here in December. There is every need for us to anticipate something stronger towards this cultural event, especially from the tourism angle, the cultural angle, the heritage angle. It feels so good to receive people of your kind, to receive bloodlines of your kind, to receive heritage, dynasty of your kind of people coming back where your mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters were once lived. They left not on their own volition. Conditions took them to where they had the opportunity to give birth to you. And I must tell you, Sierra Leone is waiting and we are ready. Daniel, for now, I don't know. That is my introductory. If I should continue, I don't know what's the timing, then I'll take it from there again.
You have to unmute.
Oh, Mr. Dewitt, he's
Wow.
the host, so
Yeah, well, I will say this much. I mean, in full respect of your time, I mean, you mentioned my name on a few occasions in the beginning of your message, and I want to say how touched I am by the impact that that had on you. You know, we are yearning to reconnect to the motherland. We are we are excited and hopeful for a day where we can direct our resources, our vision, and our creativity to the redevelopment of our motherland. You know, we are aware of the foreign entities that have already identified the value of Africa, and we are using this platform to introduce the those here in the Western Hemisphere to a call to action to be able to compile all of our resources, all of our vision and creativity, and to focus on how do we impact Africa, especially the children. So we want you to know, just as receptive as Sierra Leone is for us to touch on the soil, we are just as anxious to bring Sierra Leone's to Canada and to America so that they may be able to grow their dreams and provide for their families. So just as the Empress mentioned, bridges, we are in fact creating bridges, and I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful to just be in your presence, sir. I feel and everyone's presence. So you mentioned a few different entities. You mentioned a few different entities that are excited about this Caribbean festival, and you mentioned them pretty quickly. Can you just take a moment, I guess, to just kind of identify these different agencies and how and how they prepare for this kind of influx of tourism from the diaspora?
you're on mute, Mr. Kai.
Yeah, okay, thank you, brother Duet. Elder brother Duet. I must be bold to tell the House that there are core three entities that are concerned with the AfriCaribbean ceremony in December: the National Tourism Board, the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, the Monuments and Relics Commission. The parent body is the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs with the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, And there are these two ministries, department and agencies: the National Tourism Board, the Monument and Relics Commission. The National Tourism Board functions as a core marketing branding entity, as a destination management entity. We position Sierra Leone to be an emerging, enviable tourist destination, presenting all what we have within our reach, both artificial and natural, that nature was provided for us. And this is what we are called to do. This is our key mandate. The Monuments and Relics Commission, they are there to look after what our forefathers, what your parents actually left with us, that they will not disappear in due course. That is what the Monuments and Relics Commission is there for. The Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, who is charged with the responsibility for policy guidelines to create a roadmap to direct the tourism, to direct the culture, the heritage, and all of that. So these three core components will be putting hands on deck to ensure the ceremony has its place and its value and its essence is supposed to have while you guys are away and while you'll be here. So far, the publicity has already begun on what the people are expecting. And I must tell you, when we talk about the AfriCaribbean Festival coming, you can see the aged, the youth, the children, they're interested to see what it will look like. And these are the kind of things we want now for Sierra Leone as a tourism destination. Before, we have placed our hopes in diamonds. And we also what diamonds did to our beloved country, Sierra Leone, for almost 13 years with civil conflict. We no longer want to place our hopes on diamonds, but now we are looking to what nature has bestowed upon us. And what nature has bestowed upon us can be taken care of when the doors of this country is open to ideas of such ambience and nature. So what we are expecting, the Afri-Caribbean ceremony or festival, it is going to add a stronger value to the destination. It's going to add to the foreign generation as well, foreign exchange and all of that. It's going to create a stronger tie with America, Canada, and all of those that will be participating in the ceremony. In a broader perspective, the reasons why, as a communication and PR person, we are so open to receive this ceremony, will it be possible that it's not going to be a one-off thing, that Sierra Leone will be that spot, that center where this ceremony will be held? Will Sierra Leone be the hub for the Afri-Caribbean ceremony celebration? If at all it's going to be moved, I mean, Sierra Leone should always be considered. Reasons why, I must say, when you start to talk about the Afri-Caribbeans, Africa, and those that left the shorelines of Africa, specifically West Africa and other African regions, Sierra Leone is situated largely enough when we talk about the transatlantic slave trade. So all of our elements regarding the transatlantic slave trade, considering Banana Island, Bones Island, Tortola, and all of these Tasso Islands, they placed a relevance on this small country of almost 8 million people, of how relevant we are positioned for reasons best known to the merchandise, but history confirmed that we are good in certain things. That's why they were looking for our forefathers to play their own part in the countries you found yourselves today. However, bringing the ceremony down to the shorelines of this country gives us hope and gives us a stronger anticipation that in all our challenges, there is still hope, and there are people thinking about us, and they are still considering to reunite with their loved ones. And those loved ones are scattered in the west, the south, the north, and the east, and the central parts of Sierra Leone. You come and see your brothers, come and see your sisters. The difference is not much. We look like you look like us. So this shows a clear picture that the ceremony in December is going to be, as we say in our local parlance, one pot. We call this one pot. We call this Pemahum. What is this one pot? What is this Pemahum? These are local cuisines we prepare here. You don't have to cook the soup separately. You don't have to cook the rice separately. If at all you cook them separately, if at all want to do it, you cook them separately. There is a tendency at a point you bring in all this garnishing together, and you call it mahon, you call it one pot, and that brings typical African aroma that you will not get in America, you will not get in Australia, you will not get in Canada. You only get it on the shorelines of Africa, to be specific, Sierra Leone. I must conclude by letting the African understand is ready in every facet. We will also, as a ministry, as a board, we like to have a creation in the program where our local names could be highlighted. You talk about the Mende people, the Konos, the Timinis, the Madingos, the Fullers. We Boku, we are plenty. And just imagine you, yes, we Boku, yes.
Yo, can I get a picture for that? Can I get a picture for that? Come on now. We Boku, we all over the world, Canada, US, Africa, UK. Come on, we Boku. I love it. Sir, go ahead, man. Somebody make a t-shirt for me. Somebody make a t-shirt for me.
We Boku.
We Boku, baby. Come on, that's us. One pot, baby. One pot. One pot.
And
Minister.
Do it.
Minister, yo, bro.
Yeah, thank you. You see, and there is something we'll receive you, brothers and sisters, with. It's going to be Creole. We're going to receive you all in Creole. We're going to have the continuity of that libation you, Brother Dewitt, has just done. That is touching the spirit of every true African. So far you are connected by blood. The libation brings you to memory that somebody on the other side is connected with you. It's connected with you. And that was the point. That was the point you almost brought me into tears, brother.
Well, today's a day that if our heart is to break. Actually, this is a week of tears. So Emancipation Month has declared this final week of August as a week of tears, because we start the month off celebrating with Caravana, right? And so we party, and we just like everyone's going to be able to experience in the beautiful country of Sierra Leone when they bring that Caribbean festival vibe and the fete. We party, but what we do as an Emancipation parent body is we make sure that we pay reverence, and that we are not just a culture of party and a culture of turn up, but we're a culture of submission, and we're a culture of honor, and of culture, and of multiple generations of excellence and kingdomship and queendomship. And so this is why the Emancipation Month is so important, that we go beyond the party and we get to the purpose. And that's what they're going to get with this festival, this AfriCaribbean Festival. They're going to get the full gambit of history as well as the fun that we bring to the table, because nobody has a party like we have a party. The whole world comes to Toronto. The whole world goes to Brazil. The whole world goes to the Caribbean islands to have a good time. And we're bringing that vibrancy to Sierra Leone. And I just want to conclude on two things with you, Minister. First of all, I would like to talk to anyone I can talk to about getting Emancipation Month declared in Sierra Leone. We just got it done, or any city in Sierra Leone. We just got it done in the province of Ontario. And to make this thing truly global, we would be honored to be able to work with you on getting something done. And so I hope to be able to talk to you on that. But the second part, really quickly in closing, anyone that's coming to Africa, what do they need to be aware of from a shots point of view, or like what are some of the things that they need to have to be able to enter into Sierra Leone?
All right. Every traveler, especially for the kind of people that are coming down to my country, make sure your first thing you have to pack. It's not going to be raining the time you are coming, so it's a different packing altogether. If it was raining, it's also a different packing altogether. So while you are here in December, make sure you will bring in a comfortable flip flop. Tip number
Comfortable
one,
flipper.
make sure you bring it down your comfortable flip flop, because normally in December the sun is actually also very hot, and you don't want to get your feet burned. So I'm quite sure most of us will be accommodating in hotels, and therefore do not forget your sun cream. Make sure your sun cream is with you. Get the basic things. Also bring down your very good malaria tabs as well, Dwight, please. Very good malaria tabs, and maybe few painkillers that you trust yourself. The reasons why, because when the Mary got heated, my brother, when the dancing floor gets open, my brother, there's everybody on the floor dancing who want to dance with you and move you around. So basically, this is it. So basically, this is it. Maybe few of your swimming suit or your swimming pants and all of that, because closer to Radisson, the beach is very close, and maybe your sunglasses, your sun towel, or whatever you can do is for sunbathing. Come prepared, because in December, oh yo,
Oh, yo, yo. Love it. Love it.
do it. In December, we enjoy Boku. I tell you, my brother. I tell you.
Come on, Boku. I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Yes,
I'm
because
here for it.
where Daniel and the team have chosen for you, Radisson going down. Forget about the girls, brother. You can come to the beach and you bring in sand. You gotta come alone.
It's like that.
You know the
Okay.
you know the kind of beach they bring sand, brother. Do it. Yeah.
Not this one. Not this one. Well, I hope to have my queen with me. No, look, listen. I know better. I don't go anywhere. Our queens are beautiful no matter where you go. So I like to bring my
Okay.
queen with me. So I bring my sand. I bring my sand to the beach. That's for sure.
My
But
brother.
but for those who don't have sand, but for those who don't have sand, don't bring sand.
Uh,
Okay, don't go look for some sand. The brother's telling
there,
you there's lots of sand at the
there's
beach.
there,
So
there's lot of
malaria
sand.
pills. No, listen, we're gonna bring our sunglasses. We're gonna bring our sandals. But the malaria pills and those kind of things, we want to make sure that people know about those
and
important things.
yellow fever shots. You have to have
Yes,
yellow fever shots.
yellow fever as well.
Yellow
Your yellow
fever
fever.
and the malaria time. Malaria,
Yes.
you know, they have a
Can I
I
ask a
think
Uh,
question?
yes, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, question. I've been to Africa a couple times, so I'm familiar with all the vaccinations. So I've already done the yellow fever shot when I went to Nigeria in 2018. I do have malaria pills as we speak. Do I need to take another yellow fever shot?
no.
Okay.
Your yellow
It's
fever,
one time, I think.
it lasts for it lasts for 10 years.
Oh, okay. So I'm good.
I don't know. You'll find, my sister. The best you can do, just get your malaria tabs and
Yes,
get
I have.
all the best. Smell sweet, my sister. Smell sweet where they come. Yeah,
Okay.
smell sweet.
All right. Any
So,
more
so
questions for the minister before he goes, or before we move on? I just want to give the floor any opportunity to speak with him before he leave or before we move on with the program.
I think it's before we move, because I'm not going anywhere, brother Dwight.
Oh man, I'm so excited to hear that, brother. Because I'm so excited to hear that. So thank you for sticking around, taking it to the finish line with us. So
Of course.
if there are no other questions, and trust me, I'm suppressing like 3 questions for you, sir, because I'm just so excited to hear about the Sierra Leone culture and what we can expect. But I want to talk to the organizers. So what I'm going to do is, since this is a day of remembrance, this is a day of knowledge seeking. You know, this is a time that we allocated to do knowledge seeking, because in our culture, everything is entertainment based. Everything seems to be, what makes me feel great. But this is a time for us to teach and for us to reach And because it is the UN International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade, I'm so grateful to hear that the Caribbean Festival team has their own historians and consultants on staff. Like they understood how important this journey was, that this is not just fun, but this is education, that they have parts of their team, historians and consultants that are familiar with our journey across from the motherland to every other land. So I'm going to turn it over to Dana, to the co-founders, to be able to introduce them to the historian consultants, and we're going to ask each one of them a question that they can address for us. All right, brother Dana and Sister Empress.
Empress, you want to go ahead and introduce
Yes.
them?
So again, we knew that this was not just going to go jump up and line up, but it was a significant connection. So representing, we have our historian consultants that are on our staff. Introducing to you, representing Africa and Sierra Leone, we have Adrian Labar, and representing
And Canadian too.
and
He was born in Canada.
and so much knowledge with this, who's done dissertations, and forgive me, Adrian, I know you've written much about lots of things, because not only is he our historian, he's also our writer as well. So when you see very explicit and clear-cut writings about the initiative of AfriCaribbean Festival, this is the man who is behind all of that. And I'm trying to make, because this is my good girlfriend, so I call her by one thing, but I have to make sure that I give her all of her names. Where'd you send it? Because I'm going to say it correctly. I will not disrespect my sister. Again, she's done many dissertations, and it has done trips, done group trips, historical trips, and it is her passion to reconnect us to the motherland as well. So I introduce to you Miss Latasha, we call her Sarah Collins Fati. Correct. I did it right. Yes. So we're going to have them speak about this connection and how this endeavor is important to them.
Yeah,
And
I think Dwight is going to ask them the questions. I think Dwight is going to ask them
questions. The question. Well, I want to introduce you to our wonderful historians, Adrian and Sarah. They have.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I will say, one second. Well, I will say, thank you very much for that, Empress. We do have a few questions, and I just want to make those. We start off with, I believe hopefully start off with women's first, right? That's how that works. So the last shall be first. I guess that's how the word goes. So we'll start with the last introduction with the first question, if I may. So we have three questions. The first question is going to be regarding the connection between Africa and the Caribbean. As we talk about this transatlantic slave trade here on this UN declared day of remembrance and commemoration, I would like for us to just speak on that regard. And then the second question will go to my Canadian brother, Adrian. And that question would be about the connection between Nova Scotia and Sierra Leone. And then the third historian, that question will be about what kind of experience will we have in Sierra Leone that will connect us with, our roots. All right. So the first question is, if we could just address, Africa and the Caribbean island, and just how Empress mentioned and paid homage to all the rich history in the Caribbean is derived from the motherland. And so, just we talk about how that, just in your own experience, in your own wisdom, what that, if you had described that to let's take to a child. How would you describe that transition and that experience between the motherland and the islands?
Well, I'll start with first, we know that Sierra Leone was one of the first to gain interest from the Europeans in terms of kidnapping and bringing people over during the Ma'afa. From Europeans, Sierra Leone was the very first country to gain interest. And then, it would penetrate it throughout other areas. So many of the enslaved were taken into the Caribbean, particularly like Jamaica, Trinidad, Dominica, many of the islands, not just the larger islands, but some of the smaller islands as well, were taken from, and we have to remember that those that were taken from Sierra Leone were not just from Sierra Leone, they were from Guinea and other neighboring countries. So when you are in the Caribbean and you experience Caribbean culture, from the music, from the food, you are seeing, tasting, and feeling West African culture, from the rice and beans or rice and peas to what's one of our favorite, sorrel. Sorrel is a drink that's readily prepared throughout West Africa. It has different names: Ghana, Wanju. Gambia is Wanju. It is Bissap in Senegal, in Senegal. So it has a variety of names depending on where you go, but it is almost the same recipe using the flour, the hibiscus flower, which is found throughout West Africa. So you see a lot of the one-pot meals in the Caribbean, the cook-ups and things. All of this stuff is deriving from what was brought in from Africa. When you're listening to the music, a lot of the earlier music, calypso and things, you're hearing the music that's coming from Africa. The drums, to this day, you still see a lot of, even though you don't really, unless you really are heavily involved in like carnival in places like Bahamas or Trinidad, you may not see it, but the African influence it's there, it's pervasive. You can hear it, you can see it in the feathers, you can see it in the costumes. You can just see it in the whole vibe and how they interact with each other and celebrate. So the Caribbean has a very, very strong connection to Africa, not just because it's the mother, but later on we see that we had about 550 Jamaican Maroons brought into Sierra Leone, and I won't go too far into that because I know that's Nova Scotia, which ties heavily into the Trelawney Maroons from Jamaica, because they were also taken into Nova Scotia and then into Sierra Leone. So there is no way that you can detach the Caribbean from Africa, because in many ways it is a mini Africa. Almost every because the Caribbean was isolated and kind of left on its own, unlike the United States. A lot of the traditions and the culture we were able to retain that in the Caribbean. So you're seeing and feeling it. You're seeing and feeling every part of the various African cultures. And I will say we have to it's African cultures because there are multiple ethnic groups. You have Timne, you have Binde, you have Loco, you have Kono, you have Manding, you have Fulani, you have Ewe, you have Ga, you have Fanti, Tree. You have all of these groups. So we have to remember that it's not a monolith. So what you're seeing is multiple cultures blended together in the Caribbean. So you might find some of this cultures coming from, the Igbo people of Nigeria. You might see Yoruba culture. You might see Mende culture from Sierra Leone. You might see the Mandinga culture from Mali, places like that. But it all comes together in a beautiful mesh. And even so, there are many words that have been traced back to Africa, to Sierra Leone. If anybody's familiar with Lorenzo Dow's work and what he did with the Gullo, the Geechee people, you know that much of the language and the songs and the traditions survived. They survived the Ma'afa which if anybody is not familiar with that term, it's a term coined by Mama Marimba Ani, and it's a Holocaust. So whenever I refer to us being stolen and taken across the Atlantic, we're going to refer to it as the Ma'afa. And feel free to look that up later on if you're not familiar with Mama Marimba Ani, Let the Circle Be Unbroken. Please take a look at that, and you want to do that before you head to Sierra Leone so that you can actually feel it and see it and understand exactly what happens. We are some of the most resilient people on earth, African people. We have managed to, for all that we've been through, all the hell that we've been through, we have retained parts of our language. We now have so many people who are going back to their traditional African religions. We've retained our food. And just the way we celebrate and party in general is so very, very African. When you go down south or you go to the Caribbean, which is south, you see what's known in Senegal as terenga, which is the hospitality. You come eat. Everybody has a place at this table, or this floor, or this bowl, or this plate. Your best bed is given to your guests. So you see that a lot of what we didn't lose as much as we think we lost. We lost, but we didn't lose as much as we think. A lot of it is there if we take the time to recognize what is derived from in our African consciousness and what was adopted by Europeans. But it's very, very much alive and well. My very first trip to southern Senegal, I couldn't tell if I was in Jamaica or if I was in Senegal. Same for the Gambia. And the same for Ghana, same for Sierra Leone. Sometimes you don't know the difference between even the homes. Sometimes the children look so much like each other. You don't know where you are. You really forget, am I in Africa or am I in the Caribbean? So I will close with this. Everything about us when we celebrate Caribbean culture, when we eat, when we party, when we socialize, when we worship, when we drum, the connection is there. Let the circle be unbroken.
Wow.
Lovely. That was lovely.
Wow. If I may, just give me a second, please. Sister, while we still have you here, a couple of things I wanted to share. First of all, in many respects, first of all, thank you. Please, everyone, just offer their appreciation with a fist in the air for what she has given us today. That was an incredible, incredible synopsis of that experience and what the Caribbean holds for us as well. Like you mentioned, there's so many African traditions and so many African experiences waiting for you in the Caribbean. Just go to a market, just go to town, and go to any Caribbean island and go to town. Just say, I want to go to town. And that'll put you in the same kind of atmosphere as Nigeria or Ghana, and it's just the same way we've always done business. So I salute you on that, and I also wanted to express that this day, in many respects, is the Ma'afa, as they record, because that is this is why this is the week of tears. Yesterday or Sunday. Was a UN declared day for victims of terrorism. And I visited, I'm in Buffalo now, and in Buffalo we commemorated, the Holocaust of Black Wall Street and terrorism that found itself down here in Buffalo, New York, at the top supermarket massacre. So this is a week where we, spend time commemorating the loss and the incredible resiliency of, you mentioned we're one of the most, and I think it's safe to say we are the most resilient. And I think it's important for us to get comfortable with saying we are the most. Especially when you look at, when you start saying, how do you identify our people as, the most and resilient? There's no people who have faced a unified global intention to decimate and destroy who we are and what we are. And I think we're also the most visible example of what it means to live out the Bible. And I just bring that up because the world benefits from the fact that Black people were able to forgive. They were able to show some love, God's love. And so this month we hope to be able to encourage each other to love one another the same way we have loved our, those who have oppressed, those who have destroyed us, those who mean us the most harm. That we need to find a way to direct that love towards ourselves in this particular time that we're in. And that's what Emancipation Month is all about. But, the islands, they are ripe for Emancipation Month because we teach about the connection to Africa. And we teach about all of the things that have been stolen and hidden. And I think once they are introduced to this knowledge and this information, their worlds will change profoundly as well. And they will see the role that they play in redeeming Mother Africa. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for leaving something for Adrian to touch on, because you almost went there, but you set him up perfectly. So thank you so much for giving us that incredible journey of how our culture has been resilient. And I think that's the number one thing for us to do during this month, is that we celebrate what we have been able to achieve, right? Of course, we know what we endured, right? We know what we endured. But when we talk about what we achieved, that's when we, in fact, begin to see how powerful, I thank God for making us the most prominent and the most dominant. Most prominent and most dominant, because when we make a baby, that baby becomes Black, right? And that's dominant. That's dominance. That's genetic dominance. And so we're genetically dominant. And of course, when it comes from a spiritual point of view, when it comes from the ability to be able to love, we have found a way to be able to love under the worst circumstances. And love is the hardest thing to do. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I'm going to turn it over to Adrian Laborde, the author himself, historian of this AfriCaribbean festival. And if I could just take a moment, because we have some new people that joined. I want to thank everyone for joining. This is a very extra special event. It's Sankofa Day. Actually, if you go to sankofaday.com, it will take you to a website that's managed by our brothers and sisters in the UK. So our brothers and sisters in the UK have dedicated this day along to commemorate the experience that we've gone through being stolen from Africa and scattered across the world. And so we are echoing their sentiments by also incorporating today as Sankofa Day. Last year we were in Kitchener, Ontario. We were in Kitchener, Ontario with a six-time boxing champion, Fitzroy Vanderpool, a brother from Trinidad and Tobago, who is our Emancipation Month ambassador. And we raised up the flag behind me, the red, black, and the green. And this flag is so profound, and I hope to be able to work with our brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone to find a place for this flag to be risen. This flag is 102 years old. This flag was founded by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, founder of the UNIA-ACL. In 1920, they were able to come together. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of members were able to participate in a month-long convention during the month of August where they compiled a list of the Declaration of Rights for the Negro peoples of the world, and they gave us this flag. This flag represents people of African descent all over the world. So whether it's a Trini flag, Jamaican flag, Barbados flag, I heard a whole lot. Sierra Leone, it doesn't matter. We have one flag, one people, one God, one aim, one destiny. And so we hope to find a place for this flag to have a permanent home. So I wanted to welcome the people who are joining the call. This is a very special Sankofa Day celebration. It's also an introduction to the 2022 Emancipation Month homegoing destination, which this year is Sierra Leone. And who we have on the call right now are the founding members and the board and operating team of the AfriCaribbean Festival, which will be taking place December 28th to January 2nd in the beautiful country of Sierra Leone. We still have on the call with us a representative from the Ministry of Tourism, who is still on the line and still sharing with us just this time, this special moment. So we're going through the list of the historic significance of this day, of our journey, and I'm going to ask Adrian Labor to be able to share a little bit between the connection of Sierra Leone and Nova Scotia. Now bring it home, bring it home for us, brother.
All right, thank you, DeWitt. Thank you, everybody. Hello, Mr. Kai. Thank you for hanging in there with us. So, folks, Sarah, how are you? We meet again. Now, I'm going to start by saying I'm a family historian. But the very interesting thing is every aspect of our family touches on every aspect of the story in America, in Africa, in the Caribbean, and to some extent in Latin America. So just by keeping our story alive, I'm touching. And so anything I tell you it's from the heart. It's from facts and stories and emotions that have been that we've collected over the years. I'd like to start by recognizing the actual reason we're here, and that's the Emancipation Month that we'd like to celebrate. And the African Caribbean Festival, it's timely. It's actually already been already historic even before it happens. And by the time I finish, you'd appreciate that. And I think when it happens, it's actually going to be a major turning point in the history of Africa and its diaspora. Emancipation. I'd like to just state the definition and then show you guys that actors and activities in Nova Scotia, in Sierra Leone, in Jamaica, and in the US have already defined that process. African Americans and African Canadians have already defined that long before Emancipation Month was established. So it's just to give you the feel that it's not something that just came right about last year when the Canadian government established it. I want you to know that has already been around. It's just that we're recognizing it. Emancipation is defined as the fact or process of being set free from legal, social, political restrictions. It's liberation, physical and sometimes in the mind. So I'm saying again, it's just a fact and the process of being set free from legal, social, and political restrictions. And when I tell you the connection between Sierra Leone, Nova Scotia, Jamaica, I'm telling you about people, Africans, who have already had done that 200 plus years ago. And by what they did, they made this connection that we're all celebrating, and we're trying to celebrate through this month, and even what we're going to do in December in the African Caribbean Festival. It's the highlight of those acts of emancipation by a number of people. So that would be my contribution to this. And I know people are always trying to define themselves, trying to establish that they're Africans, you know, Black folks everywhere. And because of so many different circumstances, because of where we are located, where we were born, where, etc. And that struggle, that challenge continues. It's also a process of emancipation in some of our minds. But I want to tell you, the Maroons of Jamaica, they had established that long since by defining what it means to be African. And the chief of the Maroon chief, Michael Grizzly, on the Treaty Day that they always celebrate, he reminds everybody of this statement. He says, "We are not born in Africa. Africa is born in us." So it means it doesn't matter where you're physically born. So you don't have to even do more. You just need to know that just as somebody was physically born in Africa, or you're physically born in Nova Scotia, what you understand is Africa. It's actually something that's born in us. So you have all the legitimacy to support Africa, to be part of Africa, to extend Africa. And what AfriCaribbean is doing is effectively that, and being a bridge for so many people in the Caribbean, in the Americas, and in Canada and around the world to be able to express that. And so that's one thing I'd like to leave on the table. Now, the very first act of emancipation, the Maroons of Jamaica did it by not accepting enslavement, to the point where the British had to set 3 treaties. And the reason they were able to do that, they always identified themselves from their roots back in Africa and what they know they were back in Africa. And they never accepted any new legal or social or political restriction. And after 3 efforts of trying to hold them down, they were only merely tricked, the most forward of them, set of them, from the Leone Maroons to go to Canada, Nova Scotia. And in Canada, Nova Scotia, Canada has something called the Citadel, which they celebrate. It's their own story of how they triumphed over a couple of wars. It was built by the Maroons, and there are a couple of historians in Nova Scotia that are trying to make sure that that's recognized, that the Maroons made that possible. And the Maroons were the ones who left to go to Sierra Leone and were part of the process of developing Freetown, and at some point left back to Jamaica. So I'm telling you of a group of people who've made the journey from the Caribbean to the North America, to Freetown, Sierra Leone, and back to Jamaica. That's I think, Sarah, what do you call that when you have this unbroken circle? So
well, it's buku travel. That's what it is. It's buku
but
travel.
They made the circle, and I'm saying in that mindset they are already emancipated. And if we're celebrating emancipation, let's remember those whose act did that. Not so much focus on those who were were creating the restrictions and recognizing when they lifted the restrictions. I'm saying we should remember those. The other interesting
character. My brother, if I may just intervene just for a moment, because I am truly grateful for that comment you made. That is one of the biggest things about Emancipation Month, is that, you know, the Lord has taken me on a journey for 7 years to get here. Okay, this law was passed in 2 days, right? It had 3 readings, and it got royal assent on the 2nd day. This thing is a blessing, and the truth is, we don't focus on these dates of these enslavers and these oppressors, you know, and too many times during Black History Month and too many times during Emancipation Day celebrations across the Caribbean, UK, and America and Canada, do they talk about these dates and the time that these oppressors and racist people signed a law, right? They signed a law. They said that any youth under 6 years old, it only, they were still, they were the only ones emancipated, youth that were under 6 years old. Okay. So 7 and up, okay, you were an apprentice, and that was still slavery. Okay. So we don't acknowledge these dates and these laws because we still had to endure so much. So what we decided to do is just celebrate the resilience of the people as a whole. So I'm glad that you brought the people back into the play. But we also do what the Jews do. The Jews have Passover, and their Passover, which is celebrated and honored by governments and people and communities all over the world. Passover is a celebration of the story of the Jewish people being emancipated from Egypt, enslavement in Egypt. Okay, and what the Lord told me last year, He said, okay, so the Jews have a holy time of a season for me to acknowledge me from delivering them, but I delivered you from 50 pharaohs, and where's my glory? So the glory goes to God. The glory goes to God. Okay, so we acknowledge who God worked through, and I already took notes about the Maroons receiving their emancipation because they declared it. So I'm so excited about making sure that that information is merged into this emancipation, this global emancipation story. But we are going to make sure that our God is honored and observed because He's worthy, and He has a great plan for us all. But I just wanted to just thank you so much and let you know that we are not into dates. We are not into August 1st and August 28th when it was signed. We are using this time as a celebration of what our people were able to do. The most resilient, the most peaceful people on planet Earth. And I'm going to let you know that we are asking for.
I think he got cut off. And to add to that was to make the connection to AfriCaribbean. When you go to the festival, you will have the opportunity to see the church, the Maroons, established in Freetown. You'll be able to dance to the cultural music that they brought across to them in the African Caribbean Festival. And so that's the connection, as you're celebrating this emancipation and recognizing one group of people that left the Caribbean, went to Canada and to Freetown. Their legacy, when you go to the African Caribbean Festival in December, you will be experiencing that. And the other character from Nova Scotia that I'd like to bring to you, I'm going to take all of you back to 1792. That's on this call. What most people don't know, if I tell you photographs were invented about 18 something, so that means all we have are sketches of people before that period. And as you all know, a lot of the Europeans were able to do that. So I'm going to share with you a photo of one of the sons of the African American that was born in Nova Scotia. That was one of the 1,200 people who left Canada in 1792 on 16 ships to Freetown to establish the city of Freetown. That picture of him was in a library, in a theology library for a while now, but it's now been revealed. This guy was 15 in 1792, and he led the congregation. He was on the ship that left Nova Scotia to Sierra Leone. His name is Anthony Elliott. He's responsible for building for managing the church founded by a group of the Canadians who left, the Black loyalists, to establish what's now called the Zion Methodist Church in Sierra Leone. And he managed that church for about close to 30 years. By the time he built this church and all the chapels around Sierra Leone in the provinces, emancipation had not yet been emancipation had not yet been signed. He had done that much with the Black loyalists since they arrived in Sierra Leone from 1792 to about 1830 something. They had built church, schools, and they had even extended their sense of freedom across Sierra Leone. And to this day, the church, the church they founded, even though the current church is now a Methodist church, but the very congregation called it Lady Huntingdon has so many chapels around Sierra Leone, and they all are tied back to the act of this man. So again, that's another person who's been doing emancipation work, freeing, because when they established their church, they made sure they were apart from the colonial establishment that went with them. They in fact, they called them the Mad Methodists because they objected to everything and wanted complete self-determination, self-direction. And they even established their own schools, and they called on only who they wanted to educate them. And there is a story that they wrote to the at some point they wrote to the Baptist Church in America asking them to come across, and the bishop of the then did go across, and that's another historic moment. But what I'm trying to say is, when you go to the African Caribbean Festival, part of the cultural activities, you'll be able to walk into a church that has been existed for over 230 years, that was built to what it is by the first effort of this gentleman, Anthony Elliott. He so happens to also be a relative of mine, and again, as I said, I'm a family historian, and I'm coming across these things and realizing that there is so much effort. Again, if you go to the African Caribbean Festival, I've just shown you 2 things. I could continue and tell you 10 more things. Even the first race riot that is recorded in Canada, in Nova Scotia, by David George, that people in Canada want to, they call it is their own, it's their own first race riot. The central figure of it is David George. If you go to the African Caribbean Festival, you'll be able to see the first Baptist church that he created in the exact position he created it, where he was doing his baptism. Again, there's so many history. Again, come connect with the African and Caribbean Festival activities, learn about the heritage programs they have in there, and get your ticket and go make that trip back to Africa, so you can, as in essence, in a mental way, as part of a process, not a fact, free yourself from the legal, social, and political restriction. But remember, you don't have to justify to no one that you're African when you come, because as Mr. Kai says, one pot. We're all one pot. And as the chief says in Jamaica, we are not born in Africa. That's not a special thing. It's the fact that Africa is born in us. So welcome everybody to Sierra Leone. Welcome to Africa, and get your tickets, get your vaccines, get your shots, get your flip-flops, and come for some exercise with Lyndon, come for some dancing with Empress, and taking the Caribbean genre of soca, of reggae, and see it being mashed up with gumbe and bubu and all the others as they plan. It's so historic. That mashing of culture, music is just in itself an extravaganza and a milestone in this bridging us across borders and waters. Thank you, Dana.
And wait a minute, if I can interject. So, Brother Adrian, actually, that was a great segue, because I actually wanted to talk about the gumbe. And first, thank you for showing us that we often think that it's one-sided. It's Africa gives to the diaspora in terms of culture, history, but it was actually an exchange. And one of the most tangible exchanges that you can physically see is the gumbe. the Gumbe drum, the Gumbe dance. The Gumbe dance, the Gumbe drum is very much associated with Sierra Leone. However, it did not originate in Sierra Leone.
Oh, I want to play that. I don't need to cut you up, but I would. You talk about the Gumbe. I really want to play it.
But we have to this is full circle if it's ever been. So we want to hear it or see it, but we have to understand that this thing was brought back into Sierra Leone by Jamaicans. The Yada them brought it back in. But where did it originate? It originated from Guinea-Bissau. So we're talking about how resilient we are that we took this drum, this dance from Africa, took it to the Caribbean, then brought it back to a whole nother country. It can't get much clearer that there was an exchange happening.
Lovely. And in fact, what's also interesting, the Nova Scotians, the Black loyalists, they came with their own dance. It's called the Can. Interestingly, it has sort of disappeared. But one of our social historians back in the days in 18 something, before it disappeared, described it. And what would be lovely is if some artist would just read that description and recreate and see if they could recreate that dance. It's something they do around the circle at night while they're drinking. And when you listen to it, it feels like that dance in Senegal, where the ladies would lift their dress up, going around in circle on the drum. It has a variation of that. Correct. So again, that's just, I'm saying one of the interesting things that can be done in this African Caribbean is for some artists to read that description in 18 something and recreate that dance alongside the Gumbe and the others, because that's a clear connection between the lives of the African Americans and African Canadians who went back from Freetown. Dana, you think you're going to be playing the Gumbe music?
Yeah, they you talk about the Gumbe, and I felt like it's.
The Gumbe took a whole trip. It took a trip across the Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, up into Canada to come back to Africa. I think that's rather amazing.
And for Mr. Kai, when you said, let's just don't forget the others, the Mendes, the Teminis, we would tell you that we have a Sierra Leonean who has made the connection to the Teminis in the Caribbean. Yeah, there's a whole island. We're not hearing nothing.
Yeah, microphone.
Dana, we're not hearing nothing.
You can hear?
No, we're not hearing nothing. But
I can hear you.
Well, we can hear the music though.
The music? There ain't no music playing now though.
Oh, I thought you were playing music.
Oh no. It was. I think Mr. Kai wanted to say something.
Yeah. So you'll hear about it. There's a whole island called the Karakou, which the Temini, and they've made that connection. Yeah. And last but not least, the African Americans, the Mendes, they were central to the creation of HBCU in America. That's the story of the Amistad. It was what Sinke said alongside John Adams in the Supreme Court.
Sorry, Adrian. I think that feedback is coming from Dana.
Okay, Dana, yes, you get it. So for the Mendes, you know the story of the Amistad. And I'm saying when you read the story in detail, it turns out those Mende men and women that came across on that story, their case in the Supreme Court was central to opening up all the HBCUs in America, because the central argument of their case was established that they're no longer slaves, they're no longer property, and so the former president of the United States, alongside King Sinke, said then that means they're entitled to education like anybody else. And within a year, all the HBCUs were opened up in this country over that case. So again, and the story of Magru, the young Mendi girl. She is now immortalized as one of the 3 Sarahs in America. One of the 3 women named Sarahs who were the first ones to go to higher education in this country before the war in America. So the connection is just there. And if you go to the African Caribbean Festival, you will see that it's been set up so that you could soak up all this connection between Sierra Leone and the rest of the world while you're enjoying the food, the music, and the dance. I cannot stress it again. This is historic. It's never been before, and it's going to define a lot of things going forward. I think
if I don't know if there was a recent discovery here in Maryland, not too far from where I live, and they found that bones from enslaved woman here in Crownsville. And
yep,
where is she from? She's from
Sierra Leone. Yeah.
So there were a large number of Sierra Leoneans taken in the Ma'afa. So the connection is coming all the way from throughout the Americas. And
So,
the Americas includes the Caribbean.
Again, I think Mr. DeWitt keeps going in and out, trying to pass it back to him.
Well, I believe Donna I would like to thank both of you. I think you have taught so much in such a short period of time. Like, I don't know, I'm sitting here writing notes like I'm in class. I'm so ecstatic. And anytime I get the both of you, whether it's together or separately, and engaging about history and this connection, it just fuels my fire. And it's funny because my side job, I substitute, and they're on American history right now. And they're skimming through slavery and things like that. And I sit there and lose my mind. I said, this is why I don't do this public school system. But this, things like this is what we need to continue. We have to educate ourselves so we can educate our children. And like, I would be remiss if I'm in that history class again tomorrow to, mention these things and start sparking them to be interested in finding this out. And we're forever learners. So like, I'm so excited that you all have joined us and you've taught me some things. And, on some little side chats, we had some team members talking about how excited they are about some of the things shared that they didn't know. So they got plans for y'all to do some other stuff.
Yeah, so do some pamphlet with some information where
Yeah.
we could post and educate our patrons about the history and the connection.
Yes.
Mhm.
So thank you so much. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
if
I'm
you had
here.
another question.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So I would like to say also how appreciative I am of all of that information. Last year, Emancipation Month, we put out a list of sacred sites that are part of the Emancipation story, and that includes churches. And last year we recognized the Church of St. Catherine's, that is the church of our Queen Mother, the great ancestor Harriet Tubman, in St. Catherine's, Ontario. And so I definitely learning about this church that you mentioned, Adrian. I look forward to getting more information about it so that we can put that on our registry of historical places of emancipation significance. So I too have been taking many notes. I too have been fully enthralled and engaged in this experience. And we wanted to talk about this because, and I think our sister at the end, when she tied in, the comments about the remains of our ancestor that was found that is from Sierra Leone. I think it's very important that when we do experience and commemorate the great Black Holocaust, the Ma'afia, I think it's very telling and very relevant that we're talking about Sierra Leone today, because there's so many parts across the African coast that deserves its own time of healing, this time of commemoration. I mean, there's so much learning and teaching that we have to do to our community, and we can't do it all in Black History Month, right? We can't do it all during a school semester, right? So we have to find opportunities to teach this information. And that's what Emancipation Month is for. We hope to be able to, talk about our journey from the entire continent of Africa to the entire rest of the world. So it takes time. There's actually 2 dates that the UN has declared in observation of this transatlantic slave trade. One is March 25th, March 25th. So March 25th and August 23rd actually are very similar into the scope of what the days are dedicated to, and that just goes to show that this thing is so bad. What took place is so horrific and so traumatic that the UN had to declare 2 days in the course of a year to talk about it. So we have one last historian, I believe. Do we still have one last historian to speak?
No, he couldn't make it, but
Okay. So
I think Agent made the connection.
Okay, well, he did, and he talked about what that experience would be in Sierra Leone, and that's what we wanted. We wanted those who are watching this today, tomorrow, next week to know that there's this great, rich, and vast history that connects Sierra Leone to the rest of the world. And your trip to the AfriCaribbean Festival is going to reintroduce you to all of that history and expose you to all of that, to all of the things that have been hidden from you. And it's going to change who you are. Just like every time we hear a fact, it changes who we are. So now, if we've covered the history part, and because today is August 23rd, Sankofa Day, we had to pay a respectful amount of time to the history. And I think everyone can appreciate the value in taking time to do so. But now it's time to turn it over to the co-founders, and they're going to sort of start telling you a little bit about the party vibes, because nobody spends $5,000. Okay, I mean, I'm just keeping it real, to learn about their history. Okay, they want their lives to be changed. Okay, I see some faces like I spent $5,000 for history. So, all right, so not everybody.
Just probably historians.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, I'm a history nerd. This is why, I'm a history nerd. I have a great reverence to those who come before me, especially with my own family. So I'm glad that you mentioned Adrian. He's a family historian, because that's one thing that we preach during Emancipation Month. Like, if you don't know your own family's history, you're really missing out. Like, it's one thing not to know the global Black experience, but to not know your own history, your own personal history, right? That's the greatest tragedy that can take place. So I'm glad that we start with home, and when I honor my ancestors, I start at home, right? So I'm glad that you've made that reference, because everyone on this call that traces their roots back to Africa, their family are historians. They're famous. They're incredibly important to where we are today. And whether there's a book about them, or a movie about them, or a section in a history book about them, they fought against racism. They fought against the worst oppression that man or woman or child have seen, and they survived for you to exist. And they deserve reverence and appreciation. So history starts at home. So thank you, Adrian, for bringing us, to that very important fact. But I'm going to turn it over to the co-founders, who obviously they care enough about your cultural development to have these incredible historians on their team. But listen, when you go to the website, you're going to see the romp up, you're going to see the turn up, you're going to see the party. Okay, there's this much information about the history. So we gave you a lot more history today than you may find necessarily in, searching online. But I'm going to turn it over to them so they can talk about the kind of experience, the Caribbean Fete, the Juve, and everything else that they have in store that's going to make this, one of the greatest moments of your life.
Before we turn it over to them, let me just say,
Sure.
I fed bet and party just as hard as I study.
Oh, you wanted to, yeah, well, okay. Well,
But
yeah, you like
don't
me.
let it fool you.
No, you like me. No, you like me. No, you like me.
I will have a book in my hand and take a wine or two too.
And a sip, sip and
Yeah,
a read.
I saw that. I saw some of that Saturday.
And I can enjoy a nice Jamaican rum.
I'm not much
We gotta bring some rum. We gotta bring some Jamaican rum for sure for this mess. Some Appleton. Somebody's responsible.
I can bring it out if you want. So
no, somebody's got to bring a bottle of Appleton for this brother, please.
It needs some palm wine in here.
All right, Damien. By the way, Damien is putting in some comments. There's comments in the chat popping up. I don't know if you've seen that, but Damien asked, "Will she give an historian wine?" Now, when I hear wine, and I'm wondering if he talking about the Caribbean wine. Empress,
he talking
about that wine. That wine up.
Real waste now.
Right.
Wasting. Go on.
Real waste, real pace, real waste. So yeah,
palm wine is a wine.
AfriCaribbean Festival is the ultimate bait and switch because we're gonna get you excited about a party, but you're also gonna connect to your roots as well. I'd like to thank. Look at this man with the Mountain Gate. Jeez, he got my country.
But I
saw I saw Barbados. I saw them. He got Mount Gay. That ain't
I want Mr. Kai to take note about what we're going to talk about this time, so you would share with the folks in Freetown so they know the amount of fun and good time that's about to touch the motherland this December 28th to January 2nd in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
So before we get into all of that, I like to think I saw some of our patrons that will be in Sierra Leone. They have jumped on the call and listened in, and they got the historical part. But I also want a big shout out to the team members that are on the call. We have London with Lioness Fitness. She's not only a team member, a sponsor, she's also a presenter. She's everything. She's been, honey, she has been our right and left cheek. Dr. Chukway.
Chuku. Don't bite your tongue, Angie. Empress.
I just call you Doc, but I was trying to be formal.
I love it.
Eddie, Dr. Eddie, who represents Nigeria. He's also on the team.
So we have to call him Chukwe. We have to give him his Niger. That's Omo Niger. We don't use no Eddie.
She knows.
My brother. My brother.
Very proud
Is that how you pronounce the last name? Ade?
Ade.
Ade.
Chukwe Meka Edo Ade Anyamuna Waro.
Olu.
Igwe.
Ajayi.
Igbo man.
Niger everywhere. Omo Niger.
I greet you, babe.
As you see,
I love me. Yes.
I greet you.
We also have
salute.
Yes, we have Olu on the call as well. He represents Nigeria as well.
Yoruba.
Yoruba.
All right.
Let's go.
We also have, one of our patrons who will be jumping up in the African sun with us. Get used to that term because I'm about to make it famous. Dahlia Worms. She says she's Jamaican, watching from Grand Cayman, where she resides, and she will be there in December, like I said. And she can't wait. This has been very enlightening. So yes. So we have also on the line from the team, we have Damian Garcia, who represents FetLink Media. He's one of our social media and media partners all together. He will be in the building. He is
Damian, big up yourself.
Yes, Fetless. Yes, thank you. And I'm representing Trinidad as well. So Trini, here in the States, and representing the platform FETLIST, the promotional partner here, which we're super excited to partner with and support the FETs that will be happening in Sierra Leone.
Trinity to the bone.
That's right. That's right.
All right, just making sure it's Trinity to the bone.
To the marrow. To the marrow.
To the marrow.
To the marrow. Yes.
Bad.
Trinity to the bone.
So we just want to briefly go over what you can expect, and then we're going to drop these discount codes that we have going on. So anybody who's already going, spread the word. Get your friends. Be like, I know you were tripping. You ain't want to pay like I did, but here we got a discount code. So we want to talk about one of the events that's going to go on with the person that's going to be presenting it. So not only are we going to jump up and have fun, but we're going to have some fun fitness in the morning with London of Lioness Fitness. Like I said, she's one of our sponsors, presenters, and team members. So London, talk about what you're going to be bringing for the first time in Freetown.
Can everybody hear me? Because it's like frozen right now.
Yes, we can hear you.
So let me get up and show you. Okay. So I need to get up and show you exactly what I have on. Let me change the camera here.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Okay, you see sitting on my feet. This is called rebounding or bounce fitness. And what I'm going to do is I'm bringing this to Sierra Leone for the first time. This is great exercise every morning. You know, Caribbean folks, African folks, we love to jump anyway. So you will be learning this. It's good on your joints. It helps you lose weight, maintain your nice figure and everything.
Yes,
so every morning, I don't want to hear about no hangovers. I don't want to hear it. We're going to get up and we're going to do bounce fitness. I have boots for every size. So if you're a size, I'm sorry.
Go on.
So we are gonna have fun. We're gonna burn calories. We're gonna be jumping anyway. So everybody get up at 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. with me. We're gonna bounce on these boots. I'm gonna show you the boots one more time.
It's a fire.
Chuku.
So yes, I'm bringing the fitness vibes, everybody.
Watch AfriCaribbean Festival wear now. Watch it.
Oh yes, honey. Oh yeah, I forgot to do my little catwalk.
We want
you have everything here.
We want to take a picture. Can you freeze for the photo? Can you freeze for the photo? 1 second, London. Yeah, right now, 20.
Okay. Do you want to see the boots or just me? Or
the shirt is cool, please. Yeah, the logo. That's really cool. 3, 2, 1. And you know what? We got a lot of people who don't have their cameras on. Adrian, can you put it back on? Damien, put it on. I'm taking a quick picture. OLUDLT. Can you go on camera real quick so I can get a picture of everybody's face, please?
Chuku, put your lights on.
All right, here we go.
Maybe you go stop this camera.
Damien, see your face. Thank you, Damien. See your face.
My hair looks a mess.
I understand. Don't worry. Don't watch it. Don't watch that.
Where are you, Olu?
Yo, Olu turned up. Thank you, Olu. Thank you. Just waiting on Damien. All right, here we go. Damien, don't be the only one not on camera, bro.
Come on, Damien.
Put the fat list in front of you.
Yeah, man.
I gotta go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Empress. No, I'm gonna get you, Empress, with the freeze. I like the fists up. 3. Damien's there in the building. 3. Fists up. Fists up. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right. We got everybody. Okay. So very good, London. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a 12:30 p.m. session. I don't know what this 7:30 business is about, but I tell you what.
I didn't make that up. I didn't make it up. I'll teach whatever you want.
The truth is, when you get into these Caribbean and African environments, nature wakes you up, right? Like you're in tune with a different kind of alarm clock. You hear all kind of roosters and all kind of birds, right? So ain't no sleeping late. And look, do you want to sleep do your time in Africa, or do you want to just enjoy every moment of it? So thank you, London, for giving us a reason to wake up early, to appreciate this incredible mornings, African mornings, right? Because there's so much to appreciate, and I'm sure Sierra Leone is majestic at 7:30 in the morning, right? So thank you for giving us a reason to come on out of our hotel rooms and shake off whatever last night happened and just get focused on a new day and say, hey, look, I'm here for just a few days and I want to get as much Africa as possible. So I hope you got size 13 in those little fancy.
I do. I have all sizes from extra small to very large, because they go by extra small to extra large. So I have every size.
Cool.
So there's no excuse, everybody.
Cool. I will definitely give you at least one day. There's one day. You get one day for sure in the fancy space boots. All right. So who's up next? I'm going to turn it over to the co-founders of the AfriCaribbean Festival to tell us what's next on the agenda, and who else would you like to introduce, please?
Well, everyone else on the team will just be working hard. But we're just gonna run down what you can expect. The events, like you mentioned before, we have carnival experience. It's a bring your own carnival experience, bring your own costume. So all those that go to carnival and Fête, you can just pack that costume in your bag and come, and we're gonna chip down the road, chip on our savannah, which is called Bacchanal Central. And then but if you don't have a costume, we do have some costume partners. So you can order our costume directly from them. We have nothing to do with it. So we support them, but as far as ordering, you have to get with them directly. So if you don't have a costume, you can order one through one of our partners, or bring your old costume. We're going to jump up and have chip down the road with that. We have a Juve experience on the beach. So we're going to throw paint, throw waste, throw powder, and we ain't gonna have no mud. We just gonna have powder paint and water, and we're gonna have a Juve experience.
Well, you
mud. Africa's full of red dirt. We need mud.
You have an official grenade.
Some mud.
So you got some jab. So look, there's gonna be some jab in the building.
Have some jab. All right. So
yeah, we have jab. Yes.
You see, got some Grenadian in the building. So
okay. So
it's gonna be some jab. It's gonna be some oil. We're gonna bring some special things. But but Juve is very important in the emancipation story, and I think it's so cool that we have all these different components that really encompass the emancipation experience. And so we really look forward to being able to, not only have fun, but make this so educational, that people go back more knowledgeable. They go back more informed on what this African diaspora has to offer, because the American experience, the Western experience, the Caribbean experience, and the African experience, that is, that sort of that trinity of what it means to walk and talk as a Black person in the world. So I think for people to reconnect to all of those elements in one space in the motherland is going to supercharge our community. And I heard a few times that this is the time, that now is now. Like this is your now. This is the moment. This is the International Decade of People of African Descent. And what we need more than ever is that the leaders of the world to understand where we've come as a people and where we need to go as a people, so that they can go back into their own communities and be a catalyst for change, right? And so that's what we want to do. We want people to come to Sierra Leone and be so inspired by all of the history, all of the information, all of the experiences, that they go back to their communities and they change the world. And I'm going to turn it over to our representative, our brother from Sierra Leone, who's on the call, because it's been too long since we heard your voice. Do you have something, brother Kai? I just wanted to just bring you into the conversation as we prepare to kind of conclude as Empress said, we have a special code to share with everyone. But I want, before we get into that part of the business, I just wanted to give you one opportunity, of course, to speak again on behalf of Sierra Leone across the entire country.
So, Mr. Kai, I would like you to actually tell them about the local cuisine and local drinks from God to Man. Because when I touch down in Trinidad, the first thing I go for is either that doubles or the bacon shack. So we want them to know about the local cuisine and the local liquor. Not what's the drink Aiden just brought? Tell me something. Not that liquor, but let them know about our from God to Man drink.
I think for the libation, brother, do it. You not be using water. You'll be using omole, but I do it. For
Yes, I'm here.
the libation, you will not be using water because our ancestors want to get very closer to us that
Yeah,
day.
well, it's a different experience. No, you're right. And you know what? From what I've learned from my lessons and from my elders, you know, the liquid that you use determines the the invitation to our ancestors, right? So if we're here to bring fire down and we want them to burn up the place and turn up the place, then we pour a little bit of those spirits. But when it's just calming and we just want to honor them, we go with the water. But yes, sir, I look forward to that for sure.
Don't worry about that. We're gonna
Should be
get
using
that.
African alcohol.
Thank you, Spira. Yes. So it's a special one normally
Well,
made
you know what? And if I
traditionally.
could just say one more thing, and I want you to one more thing. I think that libation alcohol, that's something that we're looking to maybe make universal to libations across the Western world, right? Because I think it's important that we understand what we're doing and that we invest in making sure that the experience is as genuine and as real as possible. So if we need to import this Sierra Leone libation, potion, right, from Sierra Leone, let's create an import-export business out of it and make sure that Black communities around the world are using actual Sierra Leone libation, power.
Absolutely.
Libation.
Or whatever spiritual system you subscribe to. What kind of sense is it for you to call your ancestor and the power of the creator using your colonizers alcohol when every country in Africa has its own alcohol? So if you're going to pull the spirits down, use the spirits that's found in the place. Be careful. Be careful what you're calling on.
So, Mr. Kai, I think I would love you to bring this to the ministry, that when that flight touches down in Sierra Leone, that Air Senegal flight, the first thing we got to do when folks get off that plane is to pour libation.
Heavily to
I'm
receive
gonna
our
cry.
people.
I already know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cry on the
heavily.
plane.
Oh my God. Every time I cry.
I'm crying already when I do it. So omole is not the only thing that we're going to do the reception with. They also be informed that the local jelly will be waiting for you as well. It has been now being well branded, where they use a straw to do the reception jelly and all of that. It will be ice and all of that. It's so sweet. It's fine for taste, It's so fine for taste. But you understand when your feet are already on the ground, and they got to man, the G2G got to man, GTM, which is the palm wine. Whenever Baibure was going to war or when Shengbe Pie was ready for his farming, he will make sure 2 of these items are available, neither the omole or the mampama. He will try one of these that keep him very strong for all of his activities. Even the day Shengbe Pie was arrested, he had some within his vicinity. For Baibure, before he shouted Kotomamu, he had something of that kind of content within his structures as well. So these are the things we'll be using. However, there are variety of the saki tombwe or the tangayamba or the cassava leaves or the potato leaves or the crane, the sokoto yokoto, all of these local plazas or sauces, you'll be trying them. For my brother Chuku, don't worry, calm down. You don't need to bring your gari. There's gari here. There's gari here, brother. Don't worry yourself. There's
I'll be glad
gari.
though. There's
There's
Gary
gari.
too.
There's
No,
the crispy,
and the
yeah,
jollof rice.
and the jollof
Otherwise,
rice and the meat and all of that, So come prepare. I think one thing you should also bear in mind, you should come fully prepared to taste everything. Taste the dresses, taste the cuisines, taste the music, feel the people, feel the life, feel the spirit.
And there will
Get
be no
ready.
jollof wars. There will be no jollof wars.
No.
No jollof wars here.
you know
Well,
they
we are
have
supposed
to
to be having a
be
cook-off.
there has to be because there's no one that
No, no
compares to
jollof for.
Niger
My
jollof,
blood is
and they
Senegal,
know it.
so we have it all.
Well, we supposed to be having a cook-off. All right, so might be.
My own blood is Senegambian and Guinean, so the Jollof Empire, the Wolof Empire is where
Minister, I wanted to ask you a question, Minister. So when I was in Nigeria, I was actually given a name. An elder picked a name for me, which is the Igbo name Izine. Will I be given a name in your language?
My sister.
Because London is just too British. I need an African name.
my sister.
Yes.
Come. We will do a traditional name ballot.
Ooh, that is nice.
And we're going to assort it with a bit of the Mendi, Kono, Timini, and Loco, and so. You might be lucky to be called Sia, or Kumba, or Ai, or
that is
Ben,
impressive.
or
Kumba.
It depends. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
The spirits will decide.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh Lord, you'll make me cry.
They have spoken. I like the way you say it.
So we're gonna at least there's one event which it's really dear to me where I really want to talk about. It's the African Ball Night, which is one of the events we're gonna have. We encourage everyone to be in an African attire for that event. It's gonna be an all-inclusive event. Food, drinks. We're gonna have traditional performance. The tourism board, Dr. Memona, has agreed that they would work that out for us, and of course, Mr. Kai is part of the tourism board, the minister. So that is very significant. I know we've talked about Gumbe here. We've talked about different beats. Adrian has talk about beats from Senegal. So that event is nearest and dearest to me, and that's one event I actually want to see happen. I want people to experience, the culture, wearing the clothes, jewelries. We're gonna have tons of vendors on site where you will be able to buy jewelries and costumes over the 6 days you're gonna be in Freetown. We want
Bacchanal Central. The market
Bacchanal
will be on site. You can go out to the market, but we're also going to bring the local market to you, so that at any time you want to go grab something, you're buying and supporting the local.
Yeah, and imagine we got good and nice pictures and videos from such an event to actually show the world. I think that means a lot to me as part of this team. We also have the liming, which is like a tasting. I know we talked about it. People have the opportunity to taste different cuisines and stuff like that. Of course, we have two tours, one historic and one heritage tour. We're not gonna go deep into the tours because we know the historians have talked about it, but just the significance of getting these Caribbean, African people who love to go to Africa, people who they've traced their DNA to Africa, have the opportunity to actually go to Bones Island and actually here in actually stepped their foot on the soil where the enslaved people were kept and left for the West Indies and South Carolina. I think that's another touching moment for everyone. So that's something also we look forward to. And of course, like Adrian said, the second tour will be historic tours. You get to see the Maroon Church. You get to see the cotton tree, which is a big significant site in Sierra Leone. You get to see, I think, the Old Fairby College and a couple of other places. So there's a lot of fun, a lot of history that's going to take place between December 28th through January 2nd. And we encourage everyone to take this as an opportunity to come to Freetown, Sierra Leone, and have a wonderful time and be able to experience or be part of history. I know we got to talk about the airline. It's crunch time now for the airline. We want to encourage everyone, if you're interested in coming to this festival, we have worked out a package price with Air Senegal. They have brought the price to $13.90. You cannot beat this price. The flight leaves out of BWI to New York, Senegal, into Freetown on the 27th, and then comes back, leave Freetown on the 2nd, back to the States. All you need to do is deposit 50% of what the cost is, which is somewhere around, I'm not a mathematician, close to
700 is the deposit.
$700 to secure your spot, and then the rest you could pay by, I think, the beginning of October. So we want people to actually jump on that. Don't miss this opportunity. It's after the 20 feet we lose the seats, they open it back to the public, and which means Air Senegal is gonna make more money out of it. So we encourage everyone, if you know anyone, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to jump on that. We only have 2 days left on that.
And that's for economy.
That's for economy.
Mhm.
Correct. That's for economy.
And so we I'm sorry, I just wanted to push that. And also we would be remiss if we didn't say, not only we're driving home the 25th, get it in, get your deposit in, get on that flight. But this package, I don't think we do it justice, because as we brought Damien on, he was like, it's round trip. Yeah. You said, and the package includes everything. So not only the few things that we talked about, we didn't even mention the all-white beach party. We didn't mention the pool fete, the African wear pool fete, the Ankara pool fete, wearing that. There's going to be great optics. But the main event is the big concert, which is featuring Patrice Roberts, Lyrical, Femba, so many more. Sizwe C, who has traced his DNA to Sierra Leone. So we got to talk about that too. And so the big concert is on New Year's Eve. We're going to have a great time. And we have, the carnival isn't just carnival, it's carnival meets lantern. We're still showing you the connection. So get those flights and get your package. Your package includes all the events, your sea and ground transportation, your breakfast in the morning, and all of these events, and your 2 tours. You cannot beat it. Because of the economy, we keep the early bird price right where it is. We never went up on the price. So we're trying to keep you in mind. We know that Africa is a bucket list thing for a lot of people, and we're making it affordable. If you purchase on our website, we have Shop Pay, and Shop Pay breaks your payments up in 4 if you qualify. So that's still obtainable. Make sure you book your flight, get that flight, because it ends on the 25th. And I guarantee you that it will be, the last time I checked, there's 16 on the other websites. So As a matter of fact, it's 16 on Air Senegal. I don't even see it on the other sites anymore. So don't
Also,
Can you talk about business class too? Because some of us gonna do business. So
you going to do business class, and we not everybody buy up our business class because we need some business class, and they running out of business class. So if you fly business class, jump on that right now. Because it's in the business class. And to just show you how much this is bigger than life, this flight was created for the festival, approved by the FAA. Like, this isn't, we worked for months because it's the one thing people were saying, oh, I'm waiting because the price of airline is so high. So we went into full gear. Thank you to Donna and Adrian and everybody who was working in the background to help us facilitate getting this flight. This flight is specific for us, so you definitely want to jump on that and get there. You definitely want to get there. You're not going to get it any cheaper. And the 25th is the last day to do the deposit, so that you can secure your seat. Let me be specific. The 25th at noon. The 25th at noon. That is the deadline.
We also, for the very first time, if I'm wrong, Mr. Kai, you correct me. For the very first time, of my knowledge, we're gonna be having steel pan played in Freetown. I don't know if steel pan has ever been played in Freetown, but to my knowledge, I believe it's the first time ever we're gonna have Michael the Panis play the steel pan in Freetown as part of this event.
Now the first time this is the first time. Now the first time this, yes.
So now the first time this ever steel pan they played in Freetown. Even though the historians, I know there's a long history with the pan, with Africa and all that, but from my knowledge, steel pan, when it's tuned and everything, it's the first time ever it's gonna be played in Freetown. So there's a lot of historic moments that's gonna happen in this during this festival. So don't sleep on this one.
Don't tell us
don't sleep.
Watching. Don't stick. Thing gonna be gone.
So if I may add, for those from Canada, those who are tuned in right now, who read on the flyer that we are going to show a very special Emancipation Month special promotion. So I mean, this is, I couldn't have asked for a better partnership or a better opportunity to introduce members of our constituency to an opportunity to return home. I mean, to have every box checked, from government to local to cultural to every area of interest and necessity, for you guys to cover all the boxes and for us to be able to introduce this as the Emancipation Month going home destination of 2022. And I want to thank my brother Amar. I don't think Amar made it on the call yet, but I'd like to just take a moment to publicly thank him. His fellowship, his brotherhood is priceless to me. And and I know he went back to Sierra Leone and made a home for himself, made a name for himself, and continued the rich legacy of his family in Sierra Leone. And I'm so proud of him. And I look forward to being able to, walk, in the same soil that his ancestors have, and mine as well. And to be able to talk about how we can, make the world a bit smaller by using our resources and our connections to build bridges and between Africa and North America. So I wanted to acknowledge him, and I wanted to acknowledge everyone who is interested in taking part of this Emancipation Month special promotion. So I want to thank the co-founders for embracing Emancipation Month, for and using your platform to promote what we've been doing for the last 7 years in Canada. You have made this international. You've made it global, and I'm humbled and grateful. So I need a drum roll, because now for those who are listening, and I want to acknowledge my sister Faith from Toronto. just had an incredibly successful Marcus Garvey celebration in Canada. Oh, I see a finger up.
So yeah, so before you do the drum roll,
okay,
I know you're thanking people. We cannot finish this thing without thanking a couple of people. I want to thank the Honorable Minister, Dr. Memunatu Pratt, for embracing this project. She has seen the vision. She loves the vision. She embraced the vision, and she has moved mountains for these project. I also want to thank the director of the tourism board, Madam Fatmata, if I'm right, and all the team at the tourism board. I could see in her eyes when things were going a little south, how she got real like, no, this cannot go south. It needs to go where it needs to go, and it needs to go now. I also want to thank the mayor of the city of Freetown too. She has embraced this for the city, and she gave us the opportunity in March to showcase this Africa-Caribbean festival, and all the ambassadors, ambassador at Kenya, the ambassador in Senegal. They also worked hard on this Senegal Air Senegal flight. So I cannot leave without thanking those. There's a lot of people to thank on this project, but I would just thank those people. They're key. And of course, I want to thank Mr. Kai again for staying up to 1:30 a.m. in the morning to be part of this. I called him and texted him. He said, "Brother, I'm in," and that's the kind of people we want on this mission. And I thank you. My hats out to you, Mr. Kai, for I know you got to get up in the morning.
Brother.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Empress, you want to say something?
No, I concur with everyone that in the forefront, in the background, the team, main team, promo team, our DJs, our artists that diligently work to continue to promote and prepare to make a historical moment for the world to see. Thank you all for being a part of this journey, for helping Donna and I take vision, and from our passion, the passion of my culture, the passion of me being a Caribbean singer and wanting to hear my music and see the culture and soca music and reggae music and the music of the Caribbean thrive in Africa as it has, and that carnival experience thrive in Africa as it does in so many other parts of the world, and to stay in line with my life mission of keeping our dollars and building us up as melanated people. And so thank you for coming on this journey and everyone that's a part of it. And without further ado, we want to talk about the discount.
So I got a text that we cannot forget the patrons and the sponsors.
Absolutely.
And again, we are open to sponsors. We are looking for sponsors, people who see the vision and want to sponsor. We are open to any and all sponsors on this project. So we cannot forget that. I'm gonna hand it over to the brother, Dr. Deary.
Well, did you just give me a doctor? Did you just give me a doctor? Doctor?
Bro, I think I said brother.
Oh, okay. I thought I said doctor. I was about to say Sierra Leone. Y'all giving away doctorate degrees as well too. I get names and a doctorate for only $2,000.
Not doing
Oh
work.
man, this is the best deal in town. Best deal in town. Well, I tell you what, I only want to get to this good part because this is the good part. But it gives I have a little bit of sorrow in my heart because I feel like we got to say goodbye until December 28th. So I almost don't want it. I almost don't want you all to go, but we might have to.
You don't have to.
You're all welcome on my podcast.
We might have to do something like December 26th, like like the Trip Eve kind of celebration with the DJs and the vibes and the
Well, we actually have a community event in Maryland that we're doing. Feel free to come down. It's on September 18th. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with highlighting our Afro-Hispanic culture within the Caribbean and abroad. So it'll be a celebration of Caribbean, African, and our Hispanic community coming together for a street fair. It's free to the community. We're going to have performances and vendors and good music and DJs, and always promoting AfriCaribbean Festival. And we thank Mount Rainier, Maryland mayor and the government there for always, and the police department for backing us and supporting us to close down the street and have this event. So we don't have to say goodbye. Come on down and celebrate with us. And we're also doing a costume making workshop the day before, because we want to teach people about the Caribbean culture and all the aspects of it. So we have a lot going on leading up. These are our pre-pump events. We should be having another one in New York soon as well. So I know that's a little bit closer to you. We had a Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean sip and paint a few months ago. It was very successful. We did it in 3 cities at the same time. So we have some pre-pump events. Just stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, afri.caribbean. Go on the website, africaribbeanfestival.com. And most importantly, go purchase your tickets on africaribbeanshop.com.
And I'm just thank you so much for that, Empress. I also want to just let you know that there are some incredible websites. I saw somebody post ZionFreetown230.com. That's in the chat. And there was also another website that I was introduced. What is that again? It's Freedom Town. Let's see, it was Freedom Town. Do you know that? D, what was the website that you gave me? Freedom Town. That gave me a list. So let's just get.
Adrian, was it Freetown 230?
No, he called that. I think it was somebody was showing fetlist.com.
Okay, so any relevant websites, please put in the chat. I know of the website. There's a Caribbean shop website as well. So if you want to put that in the chat, and we'll make sure that when we save this video and we make it available to the public, all relevant websites will be available. There's a Spotify. Okay, good. So yeah, please put the web links in there. Every website that we should know about, and even Instagram accounts too. I'm going to put our Instagram for Emancipation Month, and our Facebook. And I ask for everyone to share, to join us on this journey as we spread Emancipation Month during August across the world. Facebook. All right. Link the podcast, AfriCaribbeanShop.com. There's a Spotify there. Okay. All right. So, London, I'm going to save that here and just put that in my notes. London. Okay. And the Spotify. So I gotta copy it and paste it to get it out of the chat. This chat will not be available after this call ends. I'm just copying and pasting them before we leave. All right, very good. So like I said, if I may, I'd like to just share with those who are watching this the actual code, and I understand it's live now. So during your buying experience, I guess, from the website as you're buying, tell us what point will they be on the website where they need to enter the code.
So after you after you've put in on the first page, there's a red box that says promoters code. You can always put in that you heard about this on Emancipation tours. And then once you go to checkout, it will have a box for discount codes. And in that box, you're going to put Emancipation Month. That is the code to get 10% off of all of the full packages. It's hotel, transportation, all of the fetes and events, and the 2 tours and breakfast in the morning. All that's included in those packages. So with that code, you will take 10% off of those packages. In addition to that, we have discounted our festival only package, which the festival only does not include the hotel, does not include the ground transportation, it does not include the tours, but it includes all of the events, all of the rest of the events, the carnival, the Juve, the Africana ball, everything else in the package it includes. And we have brought it down just for Emancipation Month to $499.99, $499.99. So you want to jump on that. If you're already going to be in Freetown, you're staying with your cousin and your mama and them, or you're staying on some auntie couch or wherever, and you're going to be in Freetown and you just want to come to the fetes, you don't want to go to the hotel and be at the hotel, all of that, or you found somewhere else, you can buy just the festival package. And until the end of the month, it's $499.99. $490.99.
Empress, just so they know, that's an $810 value.
It is. So that's an incredible discount,
right?
Because the package, a normal price is $810. So because of Emancipation Month, we have brought it all the way down to $499.99. So if you don't need the hotel and all the transportation, you just do that. 10% off of all of the rest of the packages, the hotel and the whole festival package. And then of course, you have to jump on to get your flight. If you're trying to fly on Bacchanal plane.
Bacchanal plane, that sounds like a movie. I love it.
The Bacchanal plane leaves on December 27th from BWI and JFK. Our group price is $13.90 round trip, but we have to have your deposit in or full. You can pay in full too by the 25th of this month, in 2 days by noon, so that we can secure your space. Any seats in our grouping that we don't need, they're going to release to the public for a higher price. So I suggest you jump on this immediately.
And that's leaving from what airport?
BWI, Baltimore, Washington, and then it picks up at JFK in New York. So all my Canadians, all my Buffalo people come to JFK, hop on that JFK flight. It's a night flight, so you're gonna sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna get a little breakfast on the plane. You're gonna get off in Senegal, you're gonna rest yourself, then you're gonna get back on and go over to Freetown.
So you're telling me we get to visit 2 parts of Africa for the price of 1? Oh my!
You actually do. You get to land in 2 parts.
2 parts, yeah.
How long is the layover?
Yeah, with the Senegal.
Don't quote me on that. I have to go look at it, the itinerary again.
Do you know if it can be split up, like, because I need to stay for a moment?
No, it cannot be. You have to go to get the discount. You have to leave with the plane and come back with the plane on the 20. Leave on the 27th and come back on the 2nd.
Okay.
But if you go outside of Earth, yes, you could split it up. But for Earth, no, straight up on the festival.
All right.
I do have another question, just real quick. I'm sorry. Okay. So Donna, if I was to do economy, can I upgrade like when I get there? Because I really want to do the business class. When I went to try to do it, it wouldn't allow me to do it. So when I called, it was very, I was like in a long waiting list or whatever. So I don't know if a lot of people are buying business class or would not, but I don't want to miss out.
So I don't know if you could get an upgrade. And again, I'm sure you could get an upgrade if you could pay and if it's available.
Right.
But I would jump on it now, and don't buy economy and try to go, change it to business class when you get there. You might not get it.
And I know what your issue is with it, so we'll try to troubleshoot that tomorrow because we also have to get some of those business classes ourselves.
Okay.
Dana, if you have a list of names in the next negotiation, the next discussion with Air Senegal, you could tell them that there's this subgroup of 10 people. Remember, in the discussion, if you could, and find out what they will do about it.
We'll sidebar you on
economy.
No, I said for this upgrade, if you have up to 10 people that want to do it, maybe you can ask the question.
Yeah, if we have 10 people, we could do it.
Yes.
But we'll
but we don't have
on that one, Adrian.
Okay.
Unless Dwight's people are looking for business class in the next 48 hours, we might get 10. We don't know. So we're just gonna keep our fingers crossed, feast up, and
yes, sir.
Trust in God.
Yes, sir. It is definitely trust in God. So I just want to reiterate as we get ready to wrap up. We see people leaving, so I want to make sure the message gets put out there clearly. Right now, everyone has an opportunity to receive 10% off. First of all, 10% off full experience. That's by entering in the Emancipation Month promo code at the end of their shopping experience, right? And also on the website, there is up until the end of August. And maybe we should pick a time too, Empress, since you were so specific. We're so specific about the 12 p.m. on the 25th. Maybe we give them a time too. I don't know if that's 12 a.m. West Coast time or what, but let's be specific about how long the Emancipation Month promo code will be active for.
Until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Fair enough. Well, spoken by the Empress, so that's it. That's done. That's sealed and done. The Empress has spoken. So you have until 11 p.m. Not 11:59. 11 p.m. on Emancipation Day, August 31st, to take advantage of this generous offer by the AfriCaribbean Festival team. 10% off the major, the full package, as well as the get around however you can, sleep wherever you can figure out where to sleep at package, which is supposed to be, it's $810 to enjoy all the festivities, but you got to find somebody couch to sleep in or under the stars. I mean, I'm sure there's some places that you can sleep under the stars. There must not really.
Mosquitoes are not humble.
Mosquitoes, you don't want that smoke.
Those really not mosquitoes. I hear they are dangerous.
Mosquitoes, eh? So I bet. So listen, you don't want to deal with mosquitoes, eh? So don't worry about this package. But if you like mosquito bites, okay, and sleeping in trees,
souvenirs.
Yeah, then you can take advantage of this special package. Instead of $810, it's $499. Now you know what? This is a great package to offer to the locals, right? So those who already live in Sierra Leone who want to take part. So I don't know how we can communicate that message to the locals, but I think that would be really awesome to give locals an opportunity to save. And Brother Kai, I don't know if we can work on finding a way to get that message out to the Sierra Leone Massive, but this is a special opportunity for those who are local, who don't have to sit, who might want to take advantage and might want to interact with their brothers and sisters from around the world. And now because of Emancipation Month, they won't have to pay full price for that package.
Okay, noted, sir.
All right.
And if they go on the website on Caribbean shop, it will automatically, when you pay, it will automatically convert into your money.
Okay.
I've made sure of that.
Okay.
Although it's in US dollars, once you can choose to convert it into the dollars that you're paying in. And then we do have some ways that the locals will be participating, especially with the concert. We will be selling tickets locally as well. So we have all of that covered.
And what about the speed dating? Is there a speed dating? Is there a Sierra Leone speed?
You're not else to play. What you need?
Not for me, but a speed dating Sierra Leone speed dating.
There should be something like that.
No, obviously, because people like to get married and be out. Like, that's normal. Like
You'd be
other
surprised.
cultures do it all the time.
Yeah,
Russians
but then you have
do it
some
all
people
the
that are
time.
players.
I'm saying some people want to leave. Some people want to marry an American. Like, I don't know, but like some Americans might want to.
We will not be doing a 90-day fiance.
We're not doing that.
No,
Okay.
no. We're not even gonna put that in the energy in the air.
Oh, really? It's healthy if it's coordinated. If it's coordinated, okay, fine. All right. So just a little bit of humor. Just a little bit of humor. Okay. Like, I'm the host. I gotta make people laugh a little bit. We've been here for 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. Okay.
Yes.
So a little bit of humor, and nothing gets us excited than talking about fun, controversial stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But anybody interested, go to SierraLeoneSingles.com. And I'm still joking. Somebody buy the website real quick. So listen.
He's asking for a friend.
No. Kai started it. Kai started the energy when he started putting pen to his lip like this. He started like, yo, you know what you were doing, man. I saw you do that. I'm like, oh, this guy's trouble. So listen. We are going to have a great time on the motherland.
Sure, brother.
Obviously, as those, the personalities, the people who are here, we've covered the full experience from the history to the fun, and they negotiated hard and long for us to be able to get this at the most economical option possible. So I want to just thank the organizers for appreciating, the economic situation that everybody's in, and doing your best to advocate to make sure that this experience can be done, at the most economical price. So now it's time for us to show how important it is for us to have this experience in our lives. You mentioned bucket list. This is something that will transform you and put you in a place where you will be a catalyst of change for your community, for your people, no matter what. There's no way you come back from Sierra Leone after the AfriCaribbean Festival the same. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank everyone for participating and spending these couple hours with us people from around the world who have helped make this a very, very engaging, informative, educational, and entertaining time. I'm going to let the co-founders of the AfriCaribbean Festival have the final word. As I digress, I leave you with a one God, one aim, one destiny, and that is the motto of our flag, the red, black, and green. And that's one God, one aim, one destiny. Turn it over to the organizers and founders of AfriCaribbean Festival in Sierra Leone.
Donna, you wanna?
Well, of course, we want to thank you again, David, for creating this platform to be able to share the history, rich history between Nova Scotia and Africa and Caribbean, the Caribbean and Sierra Leone, Nova Scotia and Sierra Leone. So we definitely thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to seeing you and the whole Nova Scotia in Freetown, Sierra Leone, December 20th through January 2nd. I want to thank again Mr. Kai for staying up this late. For it tells you how dedicated he is in this project, and how his office is dedicated in this project. So we want to thank him again for that. Book your flights, book your packages, and let's make history in Freetown, in Mr. Kai's place right now, Freetown, Sierra Leone. December.
Explore freedom, brothers and sisters.
Explore freedom.
Yeah.
I just want to say to my cousin Kai.
That's the code. That's the code of heritage. Yeah.
The Gap people.
Cousin Kai, you see me, cousins, right? Cousin Kai, I will see you.
I feel that, sis. I feel that, sis.
It'll be my second time, and I cannot wait. I just wanted to say thank you again to the what is it, Dwight or DeWitt?
The white is a white guy.
Oh, DeWitt.
Yeah, DeWitt.
Do it.
And when I get to the motherland, it's Dawit. When I get to the motherland, it's Dawit.
Yes, we have to organize his naming ceremony.
By the way,
it's gonna be Dawit.
I can't wait to get a name. I'm excited.
Yes. So thank you once again, and thank you to Adrian, to Sarah, to London, to everybody, Dr. Ade, and the white, everyone from the team that joined on. And I want to close with just telling everybody, come let we jump up in the African sun. Come let we free up in the African sun.
One pot.
Like to welcome everybody to Africa. Please, we want you to see what we have been doing all this time.
Chuku.
All right.
Chuku.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay. Mr. DeWitt, thanks for the platform. And let's keep
it. Do it, Baibure. Do it. You are Baibure now. Baibure. Bye-bye.
Baibure.
I'll take it. Thank you for joining Emancipation Tours. We're going to Sierra Leone, y'all. See ya.
Thank
Happy
you, brother.
Emancipation Month.
London. Bye-bye. All of you. Sierra.